our daughters, please leave. Okay, bolo. So it is not easy, and there will be many problems. But then that is the challenge, and that is why social entrepreneurs are called entrepreneurs. What does an entrepreneur do? They have an idea, a new idea, and then they put it in practice. You can't ideas, so you can have as many as you want. Here, कितना भी dream करते रहो. Daydreaming का कोई पैसा नहीं लगता. I'm sitting at home, which is, going to work though. I go to work every day. I come back at 1 o'clock, and my life has changed like a little bit. I'm not traveling so much. Otherwise, I go out. I go for a walk. I go to work. Evening, I'm at home. After lunch and evening, at home. All this stuff happens then. Call, then.
Hello and a very good evening, ma'am. This is Shashank from ISC Campus, Sultanpur. We are just waiting for audience. Just 1 minute more, and then we will start this session.
Then we will start the session.
Sure. Whenever. You tell me when you're ready. Okay.
Okay. Just a small announcement for the audience. Please keep yourself mute and your video off since the session is going on. And if you want to ask any questions to Dr. Sani, please write it in the comment box. No one will unmute himself or herself till the session is going on. Okay?
So just tell me, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A kind request, other than team member, please switch off your cameras. No, please mute yourself. So, ma'am, we are 70 plus strong. So, I believe we should start.
Please.
A very good evening to all the gentlemen and to the gentle ladies present out here. I, Kriti Verma, one of the coordinator of IISP JNIT Sultanpur, welcomes you all over day 2 of Genesis. With the ray of hope that today's session is going to be better than yesterday one and gives you a better experience. So, before the commencement of session, it will be my great pleasure to tell you about the two guests we are having today. The first one is Dr. Sahani ma'am, and the second one is Shriti Pandey ma'am. These two supernovas and superwomen left those conventional path of life and do something unconventional, super crazy, make a dent to the planet and give us a hope that we can make better. So with this note, I would like to take Shreyash for the further introduction to them.
Thank you, ma'am. So, hello everyone. I, Shreyas Verma, coordinator at Innovation, Incubation and Startup Cell, JNIT Sultanpur. Welcome to everyone present here. Today we have such a great personality and a social entrepreneur, Dr. Urvashi Shani ma'am. She is the CEO and founder of Study Hall Educational Foundation. She has been working for the rights of women and children for over 3 decades. Guys, remember, her work experience is bigger than our age number. In a country where 3 rapes happen each hour, 1/3 of world's child brides are from India, she is completely transforming the lives of girls like Kiran Sahu and Lakshmi Char and the Prerna Girls School, who were beaten and got burned their books uniforms by their own brother and father. It would be an injustice if I emphasize her work only towards women and girls. Her work area is very vast, and with the vision to beautiful, fair, peaceful and loving world, she is continuously working hard. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. We are really grateful and honored to have you here. Up to you, Kriti ma'am.
So, ma'am, it's a bit of our homework on you. We really got enthusiastic when we got to know that you said yes to our seminar. Ma'am, it is a pleasure, and ma'am, we literally love to know more about you. So, we will get with some questions, and we will get to know you with questions. Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, we all admire your initiative towards women empowerment. I actually did my homework really well. I got to know you got married at an early age. And for instance, you have been seeing many faces. So, ma'am, what was the thing that motivated you toward the Prerna Girls School? What actually made you focus to shift from girls' learning to girls' life and redefining educational tasks and to make your life better?
Thank you very much, Kriti, and thank you, Shreyash, for that lovely introduction. And as I always say that, when you get a rousing introduction, then the problem is you have to live up to it. But thank you very much. And it is my pleasure to be here today. All right, so you asked me a question of what led me to my work with girls' education and to actually working at life outcomes. Actually, it was my own life experience. Growing up, I went to a very good private school, St. Mary's at that time. And as you mentioned, I'm like, I think 4 times your age. And so in 1970s, 60s and 70s, I'm talking about, it was the #1 school in the country. It had the best results, St. Mary's School, Pune. And I topped my class. After I finished, within a year, I was engaged, married off. So, and I didn't think to question it really. Otherwise these days when girls do well, topper, and how everyone is going to the best colleges, all kinds of lovely pathways are open. I didn't question it. I have 3 brothers, and one did engineering, the other went to commerce, he did a BCom, the other one did BCom and then MBA, etc. And I was married off. Also, while growing up, I remember that I was 7 years old, my younger brother was 3, and we were many children. And so my mother was very busy. I took care of him. I remember that my brothers would go out to play cricket in the evenings, and I used to iron the clothes at home. Even though I wanted to go out and play, but my mother would say, no, I need help. And I wasn't allowed to go out. There were many restrictions which my brothers didn't have. And when I asked my mother, she said, no, you're a girl, and so that's your. Which she didn't want to even question. So I also never questioned it. And so when it was time for me to, when my father fixed my marriage, that's how I came to Lucknow. I say it's through involuntary migration. I just said yes, and I came. I met him for a few hours, I think, and then it was all fixed. Now, I still wanted to study. I was always good at studies. I liked it. And every time when I was reading, my father would say, don't you have anything better to do? Go and help your mother in the kitchen. So I learned every time he was coming, I used to sit on my book so that he didn't see it. But I wanted to study. But I wouldn't be allowed to go to college. I was getting married. So then I went and spoke to the registrar at Pune. I don't know how I found the college. I don't even know how I found his office. Pune University is a big university. But I did. And I told him, I said, sir, I'm getting married and I still want to study. I'm a very good student. Please let me just study on my own. I'll just give the exam when I come. You have to waive off my attendance. At that time, there was nothing about private. You couldn't do it. I think he was so bemused, this young girl coming and little girl coming and asking him like this, how could he say no? So he said yes. And though I would study at home in the morning for 3 hours, and I managed to get a bachelor's. And I remember it was such a, you all are in college, engineering, etc., and you take it for granted. For me, it was such a hard one thing. I was really very, very excited. Then I had 2 daughters. Compared to, I remember when my first daughter was born, everyone said, chalo, koi baat nahi, next time it will be good. Second daughter was born, oh my God, they acted as though, calamity has happened. And I was so hurt at how my second daughter didn't receive a good welcome. So it made me very angry. After that, what happened was that my own cousin was burnt to death. One day what happened, I got a call from my mother. I was 27, she was 24, and she had a 2-year-old girl, married to a chartered accountant in Delhi. And so I got a call from my mother saying that, jal gayi hai, you go to Delhi. Ab jal gayi hai, I thought, pani wani gir gaya haath mein. I went, and before I got there, she had died. And they said that she burnt herself. And my earth shook, I'm telling you. I was so shocked. But look at the reactions. My father said, look how she has brought shame to the family. My Bua, who was also had a very, very miserable marriage, said, these girls these days have no endurance. Bardash hi nahi kar sakte. Her daughter-in-law, who died a few years later of an overdose of insulin, said, chalo, she's free. And when I asked her mother, I said, Mommy ji, did you know that she was so unhappy? So she says, girls are not meant to be happy, but you don't do this. My God, and in my heart, I said, God, this is never going to happen to me. So when I went back, I said, I must do something. She should, that was the turning point. So far, I had just accepted everything. That's when I sat down. I said, this was so wrong. And we learned later it was the Dowry murder. It was not a suicide. And I said, I'm going to set up a distress cell. Girls should be able to call me if they are in trouble, and then I will help. I didn't know how I was going to help, but I said I will help. And then my older people, they said, no, we should form an organization. So I started an organization, a women's organization. That time, no education on the horizon. And I said, we must do something about changing girls' mindset. They must learn to become empowered. So I started going to colleges and schools to conduct workshops. And through that, I learned, I realized, I said, and I was going to good schools, Loreto and La Martiniere, you're from Lucknow, child, you should know. And I was stunned. I said, they're just like I used to be. They're all from good, wealthy homes. They've got a good education. At the same time, they don't have a clue. They're also going to get married just the way I have. They think their only destiny is to get married. And they don't look at themselves as equal persons with equal opportunity. And that's when I said, no, I started thinking about my own education. I said, God, it really shortchanged me. It taught me many lessons, but didn't teach me one important lesson. That I'm an equal person, that I have a right to use academic skills for my own life, to choose the life I want. And that's when the feminist in me woke up. And what does that mean? I realized, one, that I was equal, and I was careful not to say it loudly, because people would not like it. I knew that. And I realized that what had been happening with me was wrong. It should happen. And it's not natural that I should accept a second place. That people should reject my second daughter because she was a girl. But it's not natural, it is unfair and should not happen. And I started driving myself. And that's how I realized, and also I realized that education is a very, very strong way, but the right kind of education. And so I started thinking of what to do. And then I met a very good educationist from the Krishnamurti Foundation. I used to go to schools to go and see what they're like. And she told me, she said, child, if you're interested in education, then you should start a school. I said, I start a school, I don't have a B.Ed. She said, but you have good questions. If you can start with good questions, she says, yes, you can. And I started in my garage with 6 children. And it was slowly then that I started girls' school also, the Prerna school. And there I made it a point. I said, not enough just to bring girls to school. You must teach them. Whether they learn the Hindi, English, math, science or not so important. They must learn the important lesson of equality, that they are equal persons, they deserve respect, they are autonomous, they have a choice to live their life the way they want to, and they can do everything and anything they want. That was and so learning how to do that is what drove me. And so if you're asking me why I came to it, because I'm a girl, because I was a woman born in a very patriarchal home, in a very patriarchal society, and thankfully, even though it was a personal tragedy, I don't thank God for that. I wish she was still here. But I learned my own lesson the hard way. And I thought that other girls should learn that lesson, but not through such a hard way. Their education should be a complete education, one that helps them live their lives better, not one that gives them more knowledge and leaves out important knowledge.
Definitely, ma'am. True heroes. We say now hero don't wear capes, and that's what the hero are. So you are one of the heroes, ma'am. Ma'am, we were going through the data and the statistics of Prerna schools as well as the school by MHRD. So we got to see that in 2014 and 16, for all grades of Prerna Girls School recorded an average of average iteration of 8.14%, while the national dropout rate for girls was recorded by MHRD from grade 1 to grade 10 was 46.7% in 2014. That shows the success, how successful Prerna Girls schools could have been. What, according to you, have been the reason for so high iteration of girls in the country?
Okay. Child, the rate of the very high, the reason for the very high, very low retention and high dropout of girls in our country, and who are these girls? These are poor Dalit girls, rural girls who are dropping out of school. Why are they dropping out? They're not dropping out because they want to. They're being pulled out. And the reasons are very simple. One, and it's happening right now, by the way. Poor families, when they say कि क्यों नहीं पढ़ाते हो, they say हम लोग बड़े गरीब, and then you find out that the boys are being sent to private schools. I say, अरे, how come the garibi doesn't affect the boys and only the girls? One. Secondly, अरे भेज देंगे तो who's going to look after the younger children? Or the mother goes out to work, who's going to look after the children? Who's going to do the housework? And thirdly, let's get them married off as soon as we possibly can, especially soon after puberty. The problem is that even now, and that's what I meant, patriarchy is the villain, by the way, that in a patriarchal society, girls are valued. And I'll tell you, all kinds of girls, even rich girls. Sundar hona bada zaruri. So many times I have heard say, I remember my sister, she wanted to go for MBA. And my father told her, कि नहीं MBA नहीं तो फिर you'll become too independent to get married. You have to find a very highly qualified boyfriend. So no, she fought and she got her way. Anyway, my point, and by the way, I'm the only PhD in the whole family, huh? The one who was denied, and I'm the only PhD in the whole family. Boys bhi hain, but boys nahi. Anyway, so now in that they are valued for their reproductive labor, sexual labor, and domestic labor. For that, they say कि पढ़ाई लिखाई की क्या जरूरत है? You don't really need it. And so why invest in them? Then it's a patrilocal society in which girls are shipped off to their husbands. And they feel, what's the point of investing in them? Because they have to go and whatever they do, they will do for their other family. A terrible, terrible reason, and the one that really took away my cousin's life, is the dowry. They said it's better to save for the dowry rather than put money in their education. I'll give you an example. Khushbu is from our school. Itni mushkil se, in class 10 she was being pulled out, but we managed to keep her, and because she fought. She said, no, I'm going to stay. We tried to convince the parents also. He wouldn't listen. And he beat her up at her. And because he said, you're defying me. And he threw her up. But the dadi took her in. And we went. Now she's got a master's. Now about 20,000. And she supported her dadi. And guess what? You all can't do it, huh? And I know that my daughter has not done it till now. The advantage. She just bought herself a plot of land, 4 lakh ka.
Wow.
Just imagine. And guess what was the reaction of her family? They said, "Arey, itna paisa ladkiyon ko kya zarurat hai? Why should you be getting your own home? You have to get married. And secondly, you should have put all this money in your marriage." But she's strong. She's from Prerna, no? So she's nothing. My father threw me out of the house because I wanted to study. I must have my own house, and I'm going to have it. And I tell you, I am so proud of her. Because what good financial management with a salary of that much. I'm looking after her grandmother. She has saved enough and has got herself, found out where these government is giving these plots, and then a small plot, but she got it. Which I'm telling you, many middle class girls don't know how to do. So it is that all these girls drop out of school because they're pulled out. Child marriage is a very big cause. You just said, Shreyansh, you read out the statistic. 1/3 of the world's child brides are in India. Shame on us. And it's not child bride. It is girl slavery. It's girl slavery. So that is the reason they drop out. Why do our girls not drop out? Because we work at the causes. We do many things. One, we've understood that you have to teach girls. Now see, why did Khushbu fight? Because she felt she had the right to it.
Definitely,
Now,
ma'am.
why did I not fight when I was getting married off?
Because you were not aware of it.
Exactly. I came from a fairly well-off family, and I was English medium education topper, etc., etc. But मेरे में हिम्मत नहीं थी. हिम्मत की बात नहीं. I just didn't know. But she knew because we taught her, right? And the second thing was, now she also knew that the school is supporting her. So when this happened, I called the parents. I tried to talk them out. पहले class 9 में कर रहे थे. So I managed to stop that. The teachers ring up when children are absent for a long time. They find out why the girl is being kept. Every month we have meetings with the parents and trying to change their mindset and telling them, no, if there are household chores, she do it. Later, you can help, but she has to come to school. And then we know, if they don't come for so long, that they will get married off. Then we get parents to sign a bond saying that I know the law. The law says girl cannot be married till the age of 18. And if you do, and say, so I promise not to break the law. And we also warn them. I said, if you do that, we'll call the police. And abhi aisi naubat nahi aayi hai, but we persuade them. I'll give you another example. One girl was getting married off at 16. I called her parents. She just wouldn't listen. She yelled at me and she said, you don't understand. I'm very poor and I'm going to do it. You can say whatever you like. Card chuka hai. So now I said, आपकी poverty से कम नहीं हो जाएगी, बढ़ जाएगी. But okay, you know it's illegal. I will get the police. I promise you. Now at that, then I managed to find the fiance's number. Dehradun mein tha, 22-year-old young man. I rang him up. And I told him who I was. He understood it quickly. So he said, no, ma'am, please. हमारा card छप चुका है and my family is honor on that. I promise you मैं इसको पढ़ने दूंगा. You know, he started blubbering. I said, देखो बेटा, family honor तो तब जाएगा when I call the police. You are 22, she's 16. Statutory rape का charge लग जाएगा and child marriage दोनों लग जाएंगे. फिर जेल जाओगे. फिर बताओ family honor का क्या होगा? Why don't you listen to me? 18 साल हो जाने दो, पढ़ जाएगी, फिर शादी कर लेना. Guess what? मान गया. Okay, so now we step in. One, we intervene actively. Two, we strengthen our girls. Now what happens with these girls? खुद के साथ तो रोक लेते, औरों का भी रोक लेते. They come and tell us.
Yes, ma'am.
वहाँ पे तो खुद भी they go and fight. Okay, teachers are very active on this. Then we try and work with them. Every month we talk to them about this. And so now what has happened after so many years of such work with them? More fathers are involved now in their girls. They bring their daughters 17 kilometers दूर से cycle पे. They are coming. Okay, so we have brought down the rate of child marriage. And our dropout, you've seen. Not just that. Now the new normal for all our girls is MA. So BA से काम नहीं चलता. They want to do it. We want to be like Kunti Didi and Kushbu Didi and this Didi. And Didi has become an entrepreneur. She set up her own business. And her story is another one, which I can tell you if you like, but maybe you have other questions. So I'll save that for and then.
And heroes making heroes, definitely, ma'am.
No, those are the real heroes, by the way. They are the real heroes. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as I told you, I am from Lucknow. I know little bit about Didi, the work you have done. A catering venture for the captured Lucknow market for corporate meals. Ma'am, how would you got to know why Didi? Like, why you wanted to do this?
Okay.
And how successful it is?
Yeah, so I'll tell you. See, people call me a serial founder. Serial killer नहीं होता. So
yes,
killer नहीं बोलते, serial founder ही बोलते. But and I'll tell you why. It's not as though मुझे शौक है कि found करते रहो. No such ambition. It's just that it is needed. Now what happened was that I found that mothers so poor, calm नहीं है. घर में they are getting beaten up. Husbands, I don't know, they drink and then they beat. High rates of domestic violence. And so then the girls are in danger all the time. So I said, they need livelihoods. So then I thought of it. We had a school canteen and we had given it to a contract. I took the contract back. She was a young woman and she, middle class woman, good, wealthy, good family. So she came and she argued. She said, ma'am, why are you closing mine down? I said, I'm not closing it down, child. You don't need it. Your family is so well-to-do. you will manage, you will get business elsewhere. But these women really need the work. So tum maan jao, to tum bhi lo. And she did. So what I did was, I said, okay, one of my teachers, Meena Anand, she was a primary school teacher. She was willing to take it on. I said, okay, they can cook. Let's set up a kitchen. And you take over the contract and they will employ these ladies, the mothers of our mothers. And so whatever money, they'll get an income. We started only with the canteen. And then I'm telling you, Veena is a good businesswoman. She managed to get corporate accounts. And do you know, before COVID, our annual turnover was 2 crores a year. And then guess who is the second line of management? Our Prerna alum. Kunti, who managed to get herself an MBA. Jyoti, who's got herself an MBA. Now they are the second line of management, the marketing, the management team. So look at the win-win. Win-win is mothers get jobs, daughters, after they think they get trained. We have many part-time who are able to pay for their college because they work there part-time. So they also get part-time work and full-time work. And the little surplus goes to fund a midday meal for the Prerna girls.
Thanks, ma'am.
Look at the great circle. These days, through COVID, all our businesses down because of the, all the corporates are shut. They are not buying food. But we are still surviving because we set up a community kitchen and we served over 1.5 lakh meals to the migrant laborers. Okay. And the midday meal we are sending. So we are keeping it surviving. They've made masks, reusable sanitary towels. We have moved to different, and we are doing home delivery so that our women can continue to keep their jobs and the home fires can continue to be burning. So that was the reason for starting these. So what happens is, the way, I can look at the chat, and so because you wanted me to talk about social entrepreneurship, I think what social entrepreneurs do is, from my own experience, I can tell you, that we see problems. Like, when my cousin died, it was a problem for me. Now, what can you do when you have a problem? Either you can do Hai Tauba and stop. Or you can do something about it. Whatever little you can do. So I had a very small idea. Okay, I'll start a helpline. Then see how other people help. They say, no, start an organization. And that is still there. Suraksha, it is serving thousands of women. All right. So they find a solution, they implement it. And then what happens is, the social entrepreneurs, they look. Because see, one solution is never enough. There are every problem like this. Girls' education, poverty is a problem. Child marriage is a problem. Okay, there are all these surrounding problems. And so social entrepreneurs will go wherever the need is. And so if it needs another solution, then they'll start another solution. Like now during COVID times, because so many of our girls not connected, sabke paas phone thodi hai. And hai bhi, so the father has it. Or they've gone off to their villages. So what did we do? We started a smartphone library. We started a digital Sathi program.
Wow.
Which means smartphone. The Khushbu, this girl I tell you, genius hai bilkul. She's my heroine. What she did was, uske paas phone tha. She has like, that father of hers married 3 times. He's got like 7 daughters. Okay. So ab choti ladkiyon ke saath, now how do they? So she used to get the lessons from the teacher and she would teach the girls through her phone. देखते 3-4 लड़कियां और भी आ गई from the neighborhood. So when I said that's a very good idea, yeah, let's do this. So I set up a digital. We bought 30 phones and we bought 30 more. We said, all right, any student or alum who's prepared to take at least 6 girls and teach them, we will give you a phone. So our outreach has gone up so much. Now I didn't start thinking about all this digital Sathi, but the need arose, no? So we did it. So that's what social entrepreneurs do. They go where the need takes them and they think of innovative solutions that will work on the ground. And Didi is one of those.
Definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, as you said about Suraksha, we did our homework really well. Suraksha started in 1983, where you served as secretary to the point to shape the lakhs of lives and brightest of the future with initiatives like Prerna and Arohini. How has been journey?
I will, but I saw a little comment over there, ma'am, you're making this all about women and I talk about entrepreneurship. Okay, I don't know, child, who you are, but let me say this, that no, it's not all about women. And by the way, it should be about women. Remember, they're 50% of your population. This country is going nowhere if it does not fix the gender equality problem. It's a huge problem. It's a human rights problem. It's not a women's problem, mind you. What did we do? And we have not restricted it to women. We have educated boys. And
Yes, ma'am.
all the boys on this in the audience today, that boys and men, patriarchy is not your fault. And we teach our boys this, so I want to repeat the same lesson. It's not your fault. It is, but it gives you unfair power and privilege. Now, my brothers are lovely people. Okay, not their fault that I was denied an education and they got it. They got it, no, I didn't. So it is very cruel to your sisters, to your mothers, to your girlfriends, to all the women you love. So you must make it yours, which means you must change. Right now, who is a good man? If a man is domineering, wow, what a great man. If violent, even better. Okay, powerful hona chahiye, right? Woman is assertive, what a domineering woman. Okay, if she's powerful, my God, totally one of those bad feminists, they get this whole thing, right? So that is why it is important for men also to change their toxic masculinity. All right. Now, in terms of this child seems to be objecting to it being about women. So let me tell you about social entrepreneurship, child. That's why I defined social entrepreneurship very clearly. And our school, by the way, has girls and it has boys. And we focus our education founded on social justice and democratic citizenship. And democratic citizenship means learning to understand the core values of equality, liberty, and fraternity. We focus very hard on caste, changing caste consciousness. So what do social entrepreneurs do? One, they find innovative solutions to problems that they see. And what is their takeaway? A commercial enterprise, their goal is they measure value in terms of money. All right? What does a social enterprise measure its success in terms of? It measures its success in terms of the social impact that they have, the social change that they can bring about. So that is what social entrepreneurs do. Okay. Now you asked about Suraksha. And the important thing to understand is that, often when you talk about women's empowerment, men disconnect sometimes thinking that this is not about them. That's why I pointed out. It is about your sisters. It is about your mothers. It is about your girlfriends. So tell me, look at when Reuters, they designated India, they judged India to be one of the most dangerous places, actually the most, to be a girl. And when I go abroad and speak at conferences, they ask me that, what's the matter with the boys in your country and the men in your country? I mean, what? So I said, you know what? Achhe se hai bhai, there's nothing wrong with them. But if I was a boy, I would hang my head in shame. Surely there is something wrong with our society. So should we be doing something about that? So it is a serious problem. It's a human rights issue which concerns all of us. Okay? So it is important to talk about that. So you asked me about Suraksha. So with Suraksha, it continues to be, it was the first family counseling center in UP, by the way. And it continues to serve women all over the state, in all the community, the Gyan Setu centers. It goes and does all the counseling. That's how there's a partnership there. It does all the counseling for battered women, for women in trouble, women who are being denied their property rights, legal counseling, and all of this is done free of charge. So its scope is all over the state now. It started with Lucknow, but now it's all over the state. Okay, go ahead. Your next question?
Sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry for the comment. I believe the system have taken the social entrepreneuring to a different level, and
No, that's fine, Chad. It's all right. It's very good to get the comments and to address them. It gives you an opportunity to address them.
Yes. Actually, we contacted you just because of this, because we have seen you have implemented social entrepreneuring at a different level, at a different point of view, which was literally needed in our society. And I'm so sorry, ma'am.
No, it's fine. I'm not. By the way, I'm not offended at all. Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
Ma'am, the Gyan Setu, we would love to talk about Gyan Setu. Ma'am, the Gyan Setu initiative have taken school to children who cannot come to school. How do you make it happen, like through social entrepreneur?
I will tell you. See, once again, I told you that what do social entrepreneurs do? They see the problem. They begin with one problem, then they realize there are many problems. And then they start finding solutions to all of them. Now we run a number of schools from preschool all the way up to 18. So these are children who come to the school. Now there are still many children. India has millions of children who are still out of school because they are working, because migrant laborers, they live in very poor conditions. They don't have the time or the money or the inclination to send their children. And Dalits who don't see any future for their children through education, so they don't send. So what did we do? We said, okay, if they can't come to school, then the school should go to them. So we set up small community centers. We would rent a small place and hire a local teacher, a local woman or man. And then we train them first in intensive training and then regular training every month at study. And they call at least 30 children, but many of the centers are 40 children. Our goal initially was that we will teach them and make them school ready and then get them admitted in a local school over there. But we noticed we used to admit them, but they never stopped coming to us. So my teacher said, the person who was managing it, she says, but what do I do? Then the numbers are going 45, 50. I said, no, those children are seeing value. Schools, many government schools mein padhai hoti nahi hai. They want to stay, they should stay. They look at it as tutoring and their learning levels are going up. So let them stay. So we hired one more teacher. So this is the way that we have tried to expand our outreach and take school into the communities. And during this time, during COVID also, what has happened is, so I told you we did this Digital Sathi program, which has two ways. One is phone for urban girls. The other one, for the Gyan Setu teachers, we gave them small laptops and a dongle. And what we said was, now you, in your villages, we will train you online. We will send you all our material. You also teach young youth over there to become digitally literate. Because now, if they are not digitally literate, they will be illiterate in the digital age. Okay? And and what we said is that, okay, there is one, our model is 30 children to a center. With the laptop, even if you have 12, many girls don't go. After class 8, they drop out. Why? Parents don't want to send them so far. It's not safe. So I said, call them, they will come to your house at least. And so we know now with the Digital Sathi program, we can increase our outreach fourfold. We reach out to all those children who are not going to school and for some reason can't come. And sometimes, pata kya hota, aadat ban jati hai. They start liking it and then they start coming to school. And we'll give them an NIOS certificate and get them to pass the exam through NIOS. Many girls get married early, and like I did. So now they are at home. We say, okay, you come to the center, you study, and we'll get you through high school through this. You can get a job. And many young women who can't go out to work, we'll say, okay, we'll give you a stipend and you stay where you are and you teach. So you're harnessing these young unemployed girls, giving them an income. They are and you're serving many other girls who can't go to school. So win-win ho gaya na? So there you are. So
Definitely, ma'am, definitely. And they are saying we are talking about only girls and empowerment of women. True entrepreneuring is all about this. Definitely, ma'am. Ma'am, same. Further going to Gyan Setu, you run many chef schools in rural areas. What are the challenges faced by you, like stereotype and inequality basis? Like why a parent allow her daughter to go to school, to your school? They won't. They're like, "Nahi, ghar pe rahegi, kaam karna is much better for her." So, what challenges you faces and how you tackle the situation?
So, in terms of these challenges, I'm telling you, it's not just in rural areas. In Prerna is in Lucknow. There also we had to go to house first to get them. And in one case, this woman had 7 daughters. She only sent 3. Then we found out from the girls that there were 4 more. Ek ki to shaadi ho chuki thi. So then we went, man, she's my husband, I haven't told him also, chupa ke bheja hai. Then we managed to get them also. And they were really stars. Huh? So in rural areas, see, initially, we had to do all this house-to-house work with parents and talking to them, convincing them, coaxing. Then what they do, what works is the role models they see. Our rural girls have gone to America and back and all. Huh? So they see this and they say, yeah, bigadi bhi nahi and all is very good. So they then are more encouraged to send. Then we give them scholarships. We say, okay, you bring your girls, we'll give them. They can pay less. Fees is only 400 rupees. But even then, and it doesn't cover all our costs. But even then, so we even do that. Then I told you, that is why we have the Gyan Setu program also. If they still don't want to send them, then we go to them. That's how we manage to be. Then what we do is we do these critical dialogues in our rural school also. We have a community awareness program there also. We have a very big India's Daughters campaign where they go into villages about the girls' right to education, about against child marriage, against domestic violence. And that changes people's mind. And we talk to them continuously. And now what has happened, our boys in our Vidyasthali school, can you imagine, they conducted workshops on menstruation in their villages. And he told me, he said, they got very angry with us, ki kitne badtameez ho and you're shameless and look what you're talking about. But he stated his ground, he says, no, it's a natural thing. Why shouldn't we talk about it? And why are you treating your... So our students and our alumni are doing a great job in their villages. So for the Gyan Setu centers, when we set them up in the rural area, I told all our students, they come from 55 villages. And I said, just go and do a survey in your village and see who are the girls and boys who are left out of school. Tell us how many. They came back with the number. I said, now, if you will set up in your free time, if you will do this, we'll give you a scholarship and you'll be serving so many. So parents get the incentive, financial incentive, parents go gaya, so they let them do it. And the local community gets, will come over there. And our student also gets very empowered. No? Teaching is very empowering. They learn leadership. Okay. So we look for win-win solutions. And what do social entrepreneurs do? That is why they do the work they do. They realize it is not easy. They realize it's a difficult terrain. And transportation is the biggest problem in villages. We send all our teachers, and it's the biggest cost also, from Lucknow. Now I've started taking local teachers also, and we're going to set up a teacher training program over there so that we can build their capacity. And lot of our alumni are now coming to teach in our school. So for all social entrepreneurs have to be in it for the long haul. You said 3 decades. It's more than half my life also. And abhi kaam pura hua nahi hai. And I don't think in my lifetime it will happen. But you all will do it after this. So it is difficult. It will take time. And it will take all your creativity, all your imagination and your commitment. If you're not committed to the work, you should not even enter there. So many people, when they want to join us, I say, beta, why do you want to? They say, nahi, I want to, do something for society. I said, don't just come with a romantic notion. It's a very difficult task. Are you in it? Are you prepared to face the challenges? When I started, I remember I used to do these meetings in people's home. This woman threw me out of her house once. She yelled at me. And she says, what is all this nonsense you say? Girls are not equal to boys. It's unnatural. And you're spoiling our daughters. Please leave. Okay, bolo. So it is not easy. And there will be many, many problems. But then that is the challenge, and that is why social entrepreneurs are called entrepreneurs. What does an entrepreneur do? They have an idea, a new idea. And then they put it in practice. You can't, ideas, so you can have as many as you want here. कितना भी dream करते रहो. Daydreaming का कोई पैसा नहीं लगता. Do as much as you want. But you'll be an entrepreneur when you have implemented it successfully. And for a long time, not just startup. You know how many startups close, right? So we have been in the, our organization is 34 years old. And if you think of Satra, then 37. But even today, I think of myself as a startup only. Because we keep on starting up new things. Na? Abhi Digital Sathi is a startup. A college is a startup, it's only 4 years old. Will children come from 30 villages over there? Right? So my point is that entrepreneurs' work is never done. Because society is still in a mess. And so till that mess, at least your particular mess, the area you've chosen, and maybe you start with this much and then it grows so much and then continues to. So you have to continue to think of solutions. And the good thing is that it's not a path that you travel alone. The people who are working with you, they join you. Your beneficiaries become your partners. And they become your strongest advocates. And then they become social entrepreneurs. And so on and so forth.
I'm true Phoenix Soap, always on fire, unstoppable. Again, the same question. It is very difficult to cope against the flow of the wind. What are the major challenges you faced with the foundation that was especially started at an early age with the school which were already established at that time?
Okay, I'm going to tell you, and I also, it's a piece of advice also. It has worked for me, I hope it will work for you. Everyone thinks that, competing with others is the best way to succeed. I have an absolutely opposite view. You should not compete with others. You should focus on what you're doing and try to do it the best you can. Have you seen horse racing ever? घोड़ा दौड़ता है, क्या पहनाते हैं?
मैम वो कैप कर देते हैं उसको ब्लैक.
क्यों करते हैं?
So that he can't shift his direction, I believe.
No, he can't see right, can't see left.
Just the focus.
If he does that, he will get distracted and he will lose.
So that he cannot get distracted.
That's a good lesson to learn. And that is what I have done all my life. I don't look right, I don't look left. And I don't try to compete with anybody. I just do the best I can. And believe me, it works. It works. It really works. And in terms of, when you go against the current, when you're trying to go against society, aren't there problems? Of course there are problems. Like I'll tell you, people have asked that how come, like Khushbu's father, he had 6 more daughters in our school. And he told Khushbu that it is this education that has spoiled you, because she was defying him. So then she turned around and said, she says, you've got 6 more girls here, then take them out. Nahi nikala. Nahi nikala. Okay? And all these girls who our enrollment was 30 when we started, 80 in the first year, now 1,000. So whether we're doing something right, they've realized, that's why they keep coming. But of course, I told you there has been so much opposition when we try to stop child marriages, we get opposition. Now I'll tell you, right now the current opposition I'm facing is that most people, and that is the sad part of it, most meaning 99.9% people and more, 99999, they think of education as learning history, geography, math, science, and now technology ho gaya hai. They don't think all this learning to be equal and education, that is part of education only. Ye kuch aur hai, life skill ya kuch aur hai, but not education. Now I'm part of the steering committee for secondary education for the implementation of the National Education Policy in UP. So I went for the meeting that day. I chose curriculum and pedagogy and support for students. So curriculum and pedagogy, I told, now he's the government officer. I told him, I said, sir, we must make gender education compulsory in schools. Caste, consciousness, meaning how do you annihilate caste? then and sex education, a holistic sex education, all this should be part of the curriculum. So he was saying, no, we should have nanotechnology and artificial intelligence and all those cutting edge science and all, maths and science. I said, sir, wo bhi chalega, but we should have this also. He said, अरे इसमें तो भी where will we make modules, कैसे बनेंगे? So I said, sir, आपके nanotechnology और artificial intelligence के कौन से modules बने हुए हैं? So he's saying कि नहीं वो तो पता है easy. I said, then why are these so difficult? We are making them. Don't worry about it. We will help. But इसको डालिए. I had to fight, I'm telling you. For I think 1 hour, I argued about it. And finally, he gave in only because he wanted to get rid of me. And there was another woman, she was a government officer, वो भी बीच में Nordic, but she wouldn't speak up. वो government officer उनकी junior. I said, yeah, there should be more women in this. What is the problem is that when I talk about, that's why I said democratic citizenship education होना चाहिए. Why don't you have a flourishing democracy? A constitution तो लिख दी, beautiful constitution we've got. But have you ever learned in your schools what equality means? Did you ever learn? I didn't learn. You all also went to good schools. How to be a good democratic citizen कोई नहीं सिखाता. Just वो वोट डाल दो बस और कॉलेज में जाके झंडेबाजी करो. Party politics सिखा देते. But nobody teaches you what equality means, what fraternity means, what secularism means. वो नहीं सिखाते. And then you have to learn to think like that. I said, sir, it is more important. Lessons of equality are more important. नहीं तो 20 साल बाद भी ना next policy आएगी, मैं तो मर जाऊंगी. आप लोग तो रहोगे कोई तुम लोग, and देखना यही बातें होंगी, and your society will be in the same mess. You social justice. So people don't look at education from the lens of social justice. They don't have a broad enough view of education. And that is my continuous, constant struggle. Not just here, international forums maybe. I have the same battle. So that is a huge, that's a huge challenge. And then I have to tell myself, sometimes when I said, oh God, then I tell myself, I said, you know it's difficult. And you know that it is changing mindsets are the hardest thing. Remember Nirbhaya का जब हुआ था, everybody said कुछ भी ऐसे होता है, mindset change करना है, mindset, and then nobody does it. Schools are the best place to change mindsets because that's where we form mindsets. And early, just like habits of inequality are fixed in your mind, similarly, habits of equality can be taught, can be ingrained. And so if you want a flourishing democracy, if you want to take your place as one of the progressive, advanced, modern nations of the world, then better get modern. And you won't be modern with just technology, believe me, with carrying smartphones and artificial intelligence. Kuch nahi. You can, if you're supposing these engineers, that the majority of the terrorists are engineers.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they don't think socially and politically. So unless you develop a democratic mindset, an egalitarian mindset, you will never, and India is so far behind in this. Worse than any of the Islamic countries, mind you. Okay? And we all think that, they have a problem. What about us? So if you don't look critically at your social system, so we do that in our colleges, we do that in our schools, we believe that that is the most important part. Building a social and political consciousness. I won't even call it moral education. It is not moral education because it's not individual. It is looking at the political structure. So building a social and political consciousness is important. Of course, you should be a good human being. But a good human being can also be one who is not doing anything socially. So my idea of a good human being is be a good citizen. And being a good democratic citizen means understanding that you have the responsibility to participate. That if there's something wrong with your society, look at it like a personal problem. Like a girlfriend के साथ breakup होता है तो बाप रे, such a big personal problem that is. होता है कि नहीं? Okay. Similarly, there are so many problems in society. Look at them as personal problems. Break your head over them. Okay? How can we change them? Even when you set up a commercial enterprise, Make it have a social consciousness about it. Make sure it doesn't exploit your workers. Make sure you're not raping the environment. Make sure that the CEO salary is not like this, I hate it. All these IIMs all advertising. Itna crore. I said, why are you spoiling these kids? And why are you spoiling everyone else? Money has become their only criteria. It shouldn't be. What about value? Is this not your country? Is this not your world? You have to live in it. It's your home. उसको अच्छा बनाओ, सुंदर बनाओ. And that's what our young people need to learn. To act as citizens. Be good democratic citizens. सब आ जाएगा. Career. But career भी चुन के. A terrorist career is also a career. And company भी चुन कर. If it's an exploitative company, मत join करो. हम लोग funding. So where I feel that it's a bad company, I just refuse. I say blood money, I don't want it.
So ma'am, we have our...
No.
Sorry, ma'am?
I'm sorry if I just get agitated over these. I'm sorry if
No, ma'am. It was literally wonderful. Ma'am, we have our second speaker here, Shriti Pandey, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Welcome you. Thank you for joining us 10 minutes early. Thank you so much, ma'am.
It was great to listen. Thank you.
So, ma'am, in moving toward the last question, what's the piece of advice you want to give us? As you have told us many things, and many things literally we need in our society and in us right now. So what is the one last piece of advice, that crunch and crisp, you want to give to us?
Okay. Actually, I've been giving you a lot of advice unasked, but you're asking me now, let me give you a last piece of advice. Last piece of advice to all the young people is, if people at my age, I'm 65 now. So if I were to become jaded and cynical, because we've seen so much life, we have failed in things, we have succeeded, we know how society works, we know government, corruption, and we get some, So if I have not got jaded by now, and I can still be hopeful and optimistic and positive and idealistic, I expect you to be 4 times as much positive, optimistic and idealistic. My advice to you is, one, be good democratic citizens, be good patriots. What does it mean to be a patriot? And go and rallies and all. No. It means care about your society, care about your country, care about its social, moral, political health, and contribute. Make sure that you live your life meaningfully. You choose a career, choose it with a purpose. And I'm telling you, the biggest joy in life is to live a life with some purpose. A life of service. And service doesn't mean social work. Apni naukri karu na, but be socially and morally alert. Don't let anything, the Bhagavad Gita says this. कि पाप सहना नहीं, अन्याय सहना पाप है और करना पाप है, दोनों. Simple thing. And also, don't be this fierce competitive person. Just do your best. In whatever you are, try to be the best you can be. But think of best also with a different lens. And I say this to my own students, and I want to say this to you. It is your choice who you want to be. Do you see yourself as just you? Or do you see yourself as me and my family? Or do you see yourself as me, my family, my community? Or do you see yourself as me, my family, my community, my country? Or me, my family, my community, my country, my universe? I would love you all to have a really expansive sense of your universe. And then be selfish. Because if you're selfish, you will be selfish for the whole world. Okay. So have an expansive sense of who you are.